order. And we're hoping to get out of here early so everybody can go home and watch the ball game. Okay, well, you know, we all know that we have the minutes on there to approve, and I hope everybody's got a copy of those and then has looked over them. I've got the mayor's report to do. I will go ahead and read a letter that we received today that we just got. It's an invitation, morning in Montgomery and luncheon with fellow leaders from District 15 and state officials on Wednesday, February the 15th, 2017, 9:30 to 1:30, downtown Montgomery. Guest speakers and special guests are going to be Governor of Alabama, Robert Bentley, Department of Transportation Director John Cooper, Department of Transportation East Central Regional Engineer DeJarvis Leonard, Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey, Attorney General Luther Strange, Senate Pro Tem Del Marsh, Senate Majority Leader Greg Reed. And it's got an agenda on here, but this is going to be on February the 15th, 2017. All council members are invited. So if anybody's interested in going, keep that down, and I just opened this, so I will get Amanda to make everybody a copy of this so that y'all can read over it and see if you're interested in attending. But they do need to, you have to RSVP by Wednesday, January the 25th, so they can get a head count on that.
It's free?
Yes. We have the attorney's report. I don't know if he has anything to report. Okay. The road report discussion, Ronnie and Corky, and I think Corky's wife's in the hospital, and I don't think he's going to be here tonight. She had to have some surgery done.
Only thing we got is Seminole Trail and Mox Trail.
Okay, do you want to read that and tell us what it is?
It's just bad potholes, they're saying. They don't give a specific address on it.
You want to call them?
I haven't seen a bad pothole on Seminole.
What do you want to call and?
I'll call him and check.
Find out exactly what the
where it
address
is.
is. Okay, appreciate it. Is that all you have, Ron? You have
That's all.
anything else? Okay. Do you want to tell a little bit about the weather and the road? No, and thank you guys for getting out there. Daryl did a fantastic job. Ronnie and Tony was out there doing sanding, and Ann was making chili.
Very nice to see.
Everybody was just kind of pitched in. We had a lot of citizens that came out and helped, and I want to tell y'all, I appreciate y'all. Even our clerks was busy on Friday trying to prepare. Also, Ken Crow and them from the county commission sent us a load of crush and run to help us prepare. Dan Dalkey called and offered their assistance, so we were about as prepared as we could have gotten, I think. We kept the roads sanded. Daryl was out there all night, all day Friday and Friday night sanded. Tony and Ronnie was out there all day Saturday and Saturday night sanding. So I think everything was kept pretty much under control with that. Also, I got a message through Mr. Massey from Mr. Jennings that he don't feel like that we handled the FEMA floodplain coordinating position when he resigned. So he wants us to take a vote to accept his letter of resignation. So I'm going to bring that up tonight. Miss Emma Owens has requested a donation for the Miss Alabama page. Is that what it was? I don't have that.
Miss Alabama's outstanding team.
Okay. She's asked it, and I've asked her to table that until we could get the budget passed. We've also got the one from Springville football, asking for a donation from them. So I've asked her to just put all those in a folder and table until we got the budget passed to see what we have available to give to any of these organizations.
Does anyone have a deadline that she has to have that?
I do not see a date. I was looking for a date. There's not a date, but $175 is what they're asking.
Okay, tonight, I want to bring up the RDS and the collection of business license. We'll need a motion to do that, and I have a resolution to read if y'all so choose to do that. RDS is the the one that Tommy and him are interested in doing our business license. I've talked to Tommy about this at length, and he said with the manpower, most all cities are using RDS right now. He said with the manpower and the hours it takes him to do it, that he thinks it's a bargain, because the time we buy the stamps, the envelopes, the paper, the ink, and his hours to get those business licenses together and everything, and that's just one mail out. The total cost to the city is gonna be $4,776, and they seem to think that we're gonna recoup that money the first year.
And isn't there a $12 administrative fee on the license?
From the way I understand it, I've got the photo right here, from the way I understand it, it's $9.95 per license per year, including second and third notices, for an estimated 480 business license. That's what Tommy estimated we have.
Right.
And so, that's $4,776, and that's what they would be charging. That's what they would be charging, according to them. So that would be the $9.95 that they would be charging. But Tommy
So
said.
that's not all their cost, it's $10.
Right,
$10
right.
per license.
And from what Tommy has said, it says it costs him more to mail more than that to mail it out just about, and that's just one time.
Are they just gonna do this year, they're not gonna go back and get the several years that people do owe us?
No, they would start whenever we contracted with them to do it. And what was that date?
They have mentioned doing the audit,
They did.
and that's in the resolution.
Okay, yeah, it's in the resolution. They will do an audit if we, if we need them to. But that's gonna be a decision that y'all would be making, but I will need a resolution, y'all make a motion to do that. And we do have the resolution prepared tonight if, did you get a copy of it? Lindy, did you not put him a copy in his folder?
He does have both resolutions.
I didn't get a chance to open that up earlier. She sent it to me earlier.
Oh, that's okay. And I've got both of them too.
There's two, there should be one for RDS and one for, Argo, which is down department. See if there's anything wrong with that. Also, ADOR, which is the Alabama Department of Revenue, we talked about last time, them collecting our rental tax along with, our, sales tax. And, that's another decision we need to, I think we voted to do that, so we're gonna do the resolution tonight on that. We've got to extend the budget 2016, budget until February the 28th. Amanda, you wanna tell us where we stand right now with working with Andrea and how much more you like before you can have all those figures together for us so we can get started?
I emailed her earlier last week, and we were supposed to meet, but then the storm came and canceled those plans. So I'm just waiting now to hear when she's going to be available. She was getting a new magistrate ready for her, for the city of Trustful.
The reason we have the holdup on doing the budget is because the budget was, the sessions had not been closed out when we took office. So therefore, we have no way to know what the figures are, how much has been spent and that kind of stuff. Until we get those figures, we have, with August, September.
Those two.
Those two, before we can do that, those were not closed out when the previous mayor was in. We're hoping to get those figures in pretty soon so we can get that budget worked on. I've already received from both chiefs. I've already received their budget for the upcoming year. I have been looking at what figures I do have, trying to get the city's budget. So we can get started on it immediately after we do that.
You're referring to the bank reconciliations for all the bank accounts and being able to so that you can do the budget, is that correct?
Yes, we
Okay.
can't do anything until all that stuff is closed out, and she's not been able to do those 2 months of 2016. And we're hoping to get those in within the next week or two, so we can get started. So that's the reason we're having to extend the budget to February the 28th meeting and all. Also, we got our workers' compensation payment is due on the 2nd the 1st, and it's in the amount of $31,213. There's a payment option, 10 monthly installments with a minimal interest rate of 5.99%. 2015, 2016 payments were in a lump sum form. So we did get a discount this time. I think it was a 5,000 and something discount.
I believe it was at 37,000 was the last lump sum payment, and this one's right at 31,000.
Yeah, it was $37,395.24. And this one, the one that we have that's due now, we got a discount of that much, is
$31,213.
That's my stuff.
So we did get a little bit of savings on that.
What's the date on that?
Yeah, I know, yeah, I know. Make sure.
Second one, 17. And that's all I have tonight. Does anybody else have anything that they need to discuss?
Mayor, in reference to the RDS resolution, it references a contract. It's basically getting authority entered into a contract. In the event there is a contract with RDS, if you don't mind, you just taking a quick glance at it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Since you don't have it submitted by RDS yet.
Okay.
It anticipates one, but, so.
Okay, so you must hold off on that?
No, I think you should go ahead and approve it for the sake of dealing with the business licenses. With the understanding that I'll take a quick look at it. Once they submit that contract to you, you can just look it over and I'll take a quick look at it. I'm sure that it's their standard agreement that I've seen time and time again, but I just want to make sure.
What are we doing about business license people that still owe now?
We're gonna have to turn them over to,
From my understanding, Tommy, just send them another notice.
Second and third.
Say it, third notice.
This company will audit the situation and find out who's not complying on the second or third notices, and then take action at that point. That's,
So they will do it.
that's correct.
Okay. So they're gonna go after the last other years too and collect them too?
Yes, they'll,
Okay.
this resolution states that it will be a thorough audit. And I
Okay.
want, and that's another reason I want to take a look at the contract,
Okay.
to make sure that the contract is to carry it through the full process.
Okay.
As opposed to just handing it off after they earn their money.
I just want to make sure they're collecting everything that we need to do.
Absolutely.
So-
And that's why I'm here to
Okay.
help. Take my services.
yeah, the more money we get, the better off we are.
Mayor, I got something real quick. We talked about last time, we talked about different ways we might be able to work with floodplain ordinance and kind of get that resolved. And I actually went and had, met with Commissioner Crowe last Friday. Basically, what he was telling me is that he thought that most of the municipalities in the county actually do have a building inspector where they can manage their own floodplain ordinance. The county does not, interestingly enough. But what we discussed was the possibility of getting someone on an as-needed or a part-time basis to come in and act as our building inspector and to manage that. And I would suggest, I've fallen some leads there, there's some potential people out there. Of course, I won't talk to them until I bring them back to you guys. But if we're gonna go that far, I suggest that maybe we look at going ahead and adopting some actual building codes. So I understand that even from some of the smaller communities, talking about 3,000 plus or minus dollars in building permits and that kind of thing, that, you know, that those are fees that we're actually missing out on.
Charged it, about 2 hours today. Is it working?
Mhm.
Do you mind if we pass it down?
I think it's working now.
Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something that I think we may want to look at pursuing, because essentially it sounded to me like the partnership with the county was kind of really a non-starter.
I think we're about the only city in St. Clair County that does not have some type of building inspector or some kind of codes.
Right.
Well, when you don't have the codes like that, you don't have it adopted, you gotta build it by the newest and the greatest code that's out there.
So nobody's inspecting.
But no one's inspecting it, but your home's supposed to be built to that
I made the
code.
suggestion to Tony that maybe we could partner with somebody, since we don't need a full-time inspector or anything, that maybe we could partner with another city and maybe just use them one day a week or something like that.
Contract.
You can, there's a statute that allows cities and counties to share services of things that one city has, the other city doesn't have, and the same thing with counties. And so that would be a perfect opportunity, and that's why we were suggesting the county,
Right.
if that opportunity is available, it's not. So maybe another municipality that can afford that person, whoever it is, for however many hours a week that it takes, and I would assume that, especially at first, it would be very little. And they could be, it had to be approved by whatever city council, it need to be in a sharing agreement. It's called a cooperative agreement. It would be a cooperative agreement to share services with the building inspector, but obviously, at first, the building inspector would only be dealing with the floodplain ordinance, since there is no building code right now.
Right.
And the building code, take baby steps, you can implement something very simple at first, just for notification that someone is actually constructing something. And then as you see the need to increase your building code, but you're exactly right, the international code is the standard.
Standard code.
And you could take baby steps and get to where you want to be, take small bites. You could have a building code that's very, very extremely basic. And I've done that most recently for Blount County. And that's really one that, for the books, because it's as simple gets, and so we call it building code.
Yeah, and I understand that there's, I've heard that there may be as many as 5 retired or semi-retired building inspectors in this area that, as I said, that no one's talked to any of them, but potentially they could be, somebody might be interested.
On a contract basis, it would be a professional service, so you could, because they're specifically trained, skilled, and licensed, and so that would be an option to do it that way, depending on the cost benefit kind of thing.
Right. I just don't see at this point us needing someone, 2 days every week.
And
I don't think we would. I mean, if we had a lot of developing going on, that would be one thing, but since we don't, if we could just get someone involved to do the floodplain and, just on, like you said, on an as-needed basis.
it could be someone under contract to do it on an as-needed basis, or it could be from a neighboring municipality doing an as-needed basis.
Right.
Just whatever the case may be, depending on cost and availability.
Anybody else have anything? Do you have anything?
I just wanted to remind everybody, I'm sure everybody else got this partnership for tomorrow. It's an annual breakfast that the EDC has. And they basically go over their goals for the year. But it's Thursday the 19th, and we need to RSVP by the 15th. It's from 8 to 9, and it's in Odenville at the Heritage House. So I'm going to RSVP for myself and the mayor in the morning. If anybody else would like for me to do that, we can just make one call and RSVP for us all.
When is the breakfast? Next breakfast coming up?
I haven't
I
gotten
haven't
a
gotten
notice
it.
yet.
I haven't
Usually
gotten
the
a notice.
17th, but I haven't heard anything
I
yet.
haven't gotten any notice. Probably come out sometimes this week. Usually, as soon as I get it, I'll forward it to everybody.
One more, Mayor, it was mentioned earlier about, someone mentioned about the timing of the meeting, and stopping this meeting, starting the next meeting, and no specific time to start the next meeting, and that sort of thing. Well, actually, you advertised it just for clarity's sake, and talking about the law. You advertised it originally, or stated it, that the meeting would start immediately upon the conclusion of this one. I would say that I like to not overcomplicate things, and so that's the method. That's what the law allows it. Let's face it. You probably will never finish a work session and not do the regular meeting. So this is basically one continuously flowing meeting. And so that's the way it was envisioned, that the formal part of it, the voting part of it would come after that. And so this would be one, starting the meeting, you're actually taking minutes from it or recording the conversations, and the deliberations is made public and starting at 6 o'clock and would continuously flow into the voting portion of the meeting. However, if it makes everyone or some others more comfortable, you can identify a time frame. You know, this meeting, the next meeting will start at 6:30 or what have you, or 6:15. But I'll tell you, there's nothing wrong with this meeting continuing and even bumping the next meeting over to, if it doesn't finish at 6:30 to 6:45 or 7 or 7:30, whatever that case may be, because inevitably that's what will happen. If you get over technical about the starting times, you're never going to be perfect. You're either going to have to wait a while for that meeting to start, or that meeting will be bumped. And if you're violating the law as you're moving to the next meeting automatically, then you're going to be violating the law if you're pushing that meeting off to a different time. So it's hyper-technical. The law just doesn't read that way. The law reads that you advertise the starting time for the meeting. You have at 6 o'clock. You go into the voting portion of the meeting afterwards, and it's just one continuously flowing meeting. If it makes someone else feel better, you can certainly do that. There's nothing wrong with putting a time frame. You just realize that nothing's perfect. And for that matter, I represented clients my whole career that do everything in one meeting. They just sit at the same place and they bring up discussions and they vote all at the same time. So it could be just one continuously flowing meeting, but you all do it right. You have an informal discussion about the issues, decide what's going to happen, what you need to talk about. And to me, that's, you do it right and you don't overcomplicate things. And so that's just my monologue about that subject. If you want to put a time frame, it's just a hyper-technical kind of thing that is just not.
You all notice this time also, I had Amanda put down here all the places. We also, there were some comments made that we weren't posting the meetings. And I had her on in the bottom of the agenda put down here the time, the places that all of these are being posted by Darryl. So as soon as Amanda gets them ready, she notifies Darryl and let Darryl know that they're ready to be put out. And could you give them a time frame as to when this usually goes out, Amanda?
Sure, the Thursdays at 4 prior to the council meeting on Monday, the agenda closes. And so I'll draft the agenda either Thursday around 3, rough draft, and then finalize it prior to 11 on Friday. So it goes to mayor and council and attorney on Friday around 11 is what time, between 10 and 11. That gives you guys an hour or so to look at it, review it, come back to me with any kind of updates that need to be made. And then from there, it's sent out to the public. Our goal is noon Fridays, but sometimes it's a little after. But from my understanding, as long as the agenda is posted 24 hours in advance of the actual meeting, then we're good by law. But
If you actually even have an agenda, I mean, we want to get technical, you could have your scheduled meetings, not even have an agenda. If there is an agenda, it's supposed to be posted within a reasonable time frame after the agenda is set. And so you're doing it correctly, and giving a 24-hour period beforehand is just icing on the cake. And so you're doing it properly. And as a matter of fact, posting it in the unofficial places and the businesses around here, again, is icing on the cake. That's just going the extra mile.
No, you don't have to do that.
You can post it. You can post it right up here and require people to come up here to see things, but posting it around the community is logical.
And I think your question was, when does Darryl receive that? So once I email the meeting notification to the citizens, I print out 7, 5, 7, however many, and put them in his mailbox at that time. And then he'll get the phone call. So whenever he's available Friday afternoon, then he'll come and grab them and post them.
Do you have any media that has requested to be on your email list?
Media, there may be some standing emails on the notification
I
list.
think the St. Clair Times, the Aegis is already on the list. Is the Trustful Tribune on there now?
The editor is, but I'm not.
Okay, would you like to be on there?
I would please.
If you would give her your information before you leave, then she can put you on there also.
Sure, thank you.
But I've not been questioned or presented with any emails.
You're just
from
using
you.
the standard email list that you can.
Anybody else have anything else? I have one other thing, I know it's, if y'all looked in your mailbox tonight, there was, I had Amanda make all you a copy of the surplus, packet that we had available here. I want y'all to familiarize yourself with that, because, when that surplus, was sold, we're still looking for some of the titles and some of the auction companies that bid that stuff out. When that money, we've got to find out exactly how much money that the police department has left. I don't know, we have no way of knowing, because some of that money was deposited into the general fund, and that money can only be spent for our police officers, for their equipment and stuff. So we've got to sample through this and figure out how much money they have spent so far. I know we paid off a couple of cars and
Purchase of this.
purchase some vests. And so we've got to sample through that stuff and find out exactly how much they still have coming. And then that money's gonna have to be put in their equipment fund for them.
Yeah, we're going to find out what all equipment we've actually.
But anyway, I have the packet, all the information that
Do an
we,
inventory.
all the information that Amanda could find in her office, because there was no records, no files, no nothing left in my office. But, all the week she went through her files and tried to pull as much information as she had up there. And what I have is the same thing that I had them y'all's mailbox. So y'all try to familiarize yourself with all that, so that we can all be on the same page and try to put that money to the police department where it's supposed to be.
Have we called the state and got a full list of what they did buy at one time? Unless they're-
We're looking for information. We found some titles, but we cannot find the paperwork on where the auction took place and what all was sold and all that. We have not been able to find that yet, but we're going through now trying to find some of that stuff.
So the chief should know what he has purchased.
That's what I'm getting at, what we purchased versus what
He
we still
did
have.
give,
and what we have to
James,
sell.
you did give a list of that, did you not? Of the things that had been purchased by the police department for, with that,
We purchased a manual and bulletproof vest.
and we paid off a couple of cars, right?
Two cars.
So can you get us a list of those figures?
That's not we purchased.
Well, I know, but can you get us the amounts of those
It's in the
items?
office.
Also, we had to pay for the shipping on there, and I did find something where, or Amanda did through some of the files, and I think it's in this, and I would hate to say how much exactly it is, but, because I have not had a chance to go through this either. So, we did find some cost of shipping, and I want to say it was in the 20s. I'm just not sure.
There's
about-
some freight charges too where they haul the stuff in.
That's what I'm talking about, the
Yeah.
freight charges and all. So, and I know that would have to come off of it. And-
We came off automatically.
Yeah. But anyway, once we get to this, we need to start trying to look over that. That's the reason I had to put it in there, because when we get to the budget, that we've got to work on giving them their money, putting it in a fund for them.
Let me ask a question. To me, this doesn't make sense. Maybe it should, I'm not a financial expert. But should we not have a separate account for those monies?
I'm not sure. That might be a question you might need to ask the attorney. If it'd been me, I would put it in a separate account. I would not have added it to the general fund.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be a line item identified specifically for funds that are restricted, absolutely, without a doubt.
But couldn't the state give us a list of what was shipped to us? Like.
That's what I'm getting
like
at.
Mr.
What we-
Bowman said,
what we
there should be a
had.
list. The
We
state
can
should
try,
know
we
what
can
came
try,
to
we can go that
Argo.
route, we can try that. James may be able to
The
help.
auction company should have listed everything they sold, because they collected their percentage before we got our money from them.
But the state would have a list of what was shipped to Argo.
Did we-
The state would have nothing to do with it.
Did we use the same auction company every time it was auctioned off? Okay.
One time it was up for bids, it was no auction.
That was the first time.
But that is only gonna tell us what was sold, it's not gonna tell us what came here from
The
the
state won't tell
federal
you what's coming,
government.
it comes from the federal government.
I
Okay,
found
so-
some stuff in
We
my
don't have a
records,
list of that.
And
Y'all go with
We don't
that?
have an
I think
accurate
some
list
time,
of what was
but
actually
the
shipped
director
in.
of that program that you and I talked to, they have to have a list of what went where. So if we start with them, then we compare what they said we got to the records that we can find and what we can actually go out there and physically.
We found one folder, but it had the envelope in there that said titles, but when we opened it up, there was no titles there.
Yeah, it was a very incomplete, there's nothing to follow in those documents. There's no way you can follow and find out what we got in them and what was sold.
So besides you, chief, who else?
It was in the mayor's office.
All the paperwork was in the mayor's office. You had no copies of it
I
in your
had
office.
some, you know, when my desk started getting ransacked every night, I took some of it home. I got half of it home. The other half, I ain't got a clue where it is.
There was no files in my office.
Well, my thing, yeah, I know all the files in your office were destroyed, but the thing is that we're responsible for this equipment. So,
See, there was supposed to have been, it was my understanding, there was a separate account supposed to have been set up for this government equipment. That money was supposed to be in that account. It was not supposed to have been put in general fund.
right, and
If
I
it
thought,
put in general fund, I have no idea.
what little I knew about the program was that the money was being put in a separate account. The way it was coming in and going out, there was absolutely no way that Betty and I,
Couldn't
even
track
as
it.
hard as we tried, we could not keep up with it. But Andy, wasn't Andy in on that also?
Andy and Tony.
Have you asked them if they, Mayor, have you asked them if they can shed any light on stuff?
We were trying to find as much information as we possibly could before we brought anybody else into it. And Amanda, she's been through her office, and I think she's just about gotten all the information. You had that written, right? There's no other files. We've checked every file. and everything. But anyway, that is just for y'all's information. Y'all start looking over that, and maybe we'll shed some light on it. And all, but we've got that money we cannot spend. That money is not for the general fund. It's not, we can't pay nothing from the city other than for the police department. So we've got to make sure that they get that money.
It doesn't sound like it's gonna be an easy task to figure out what that figure is.
Yeah, what we got in, what went out.
If we don't even,
And I think we're gonna have to start with whoever administers that program, be it the state or the federal government, whoever, and get a list of what we purchased.
Because they should have documentation of what they should have to,
Let's see
The
what
auction company's got a copy of everything they sold.
when they copies it too.
that's just gonna tell us what was sold, it's not gonna tell us what was shipped. We need a list of what was shipped here so that we can do an inventory of what
It's there.
is, yeah, what's actually on the ground and what was sold at that auction. Those two should meet.
Yeah, well, we need that information plus the information.
Yeah, when they post it.
And there are some of those in there.
Yes, we did find some.
Some.
Not for all of them, but we did find some. We found no information on the auction company, did we?
The names of the auction, company should, do you mind if I look at yours? Pierce Auction,
Pierce, yeah.
and I believe that, and that was dated 8/2015, 8/28 is the date that they were paying.
Does it have on there what all was auctioned for them?
It does, it's right here, it's written out.
It's just handwritten.
You see yours, Betty?
Yes, yes, I got it.
Okay. And then the next one is,
It was a 1992 CAT, says total commission was $7,955. total sale, I think, was 114,550. And we supposedly got 106,595 after the commission. There was a 1993 Freightliner, a 1989 Unimog, a 1992 PH Rough Terrain Cruise.
Crane, that's a rough crane,
Is that what it is?
P&H crane, isn't
And then a generator. Those are the things they auctioned, right?
it?
And then the next page shows you where it was entered into the system.
Did this go into the general fund?
If I could use yours as a visual, please, miscellaneous revenue equipment fund. And if you'll see the account number 011003, that's police department. And it's the 4065, those interchange with every account. And so this 4065 is specifically miscellaneous revenue equipment fund.
So they did put it in the fund. Okay, good.
So that's the 106 that you just referenced on the front page, went into that account.
And that's your Delta receipt. We use Delta for all of our receivables.
Okay. So it's showing down here that total debt 67,622.
It's definitely gonna take some research.
Is this kind of where, is this where you're trying to total it up, or is that something that they wrote on there?
No, I wrote that. That was through research with local government and Delta.
So basically 850, the defensive driving school's been spent out of it.
No, that's a different account. If you'll look at the account numbers, that's a different account, 4080. This is like a general,
Okay, I see
ledger.
what you're saying,
Yeah. Yeah, each of those accounts have nothing to do with the miscellaneous equipment fund that you see highlighted on the top.
But anyway, this is for y'all's information, if y'all will go through this and kind of look over it. I have not had a chance to look at it, so let's just do that and then we'll bring it up at another meeting. And discuss it as to how much they still have in that equipment account.
Hey, Betty,
Before we leave out of
when are y'all gonna get the website up to
It's
date?
down for maintenance right now.
Okay.
And they came out today, the IT people, and did the firewalls and all of that. So they're hoping to, we're hoping to get that going pretty
Okay.
soon. But the website's down for maintenance right now.
Okay.